Consolidation procedure in case of chain holding. Concepts for preparing consolidated financial statement at each year end remain same. Consolidation procedure in case of chain holding. For example, P 80%, subsidiary 60%. In subsidiary. Then during consolidation for subsidiary, what is the portion you need to include in your balance sheet? 48%. Right? Right. Okay. P 80%, S 60%. Concepts for preparing consolidated financial statement at each year end and will remain same as a discussed in above topic. Parent company should apply the following steps preparing the consolidated financial statement. What are those steps? Step number 1. In Now, step number 1. Share percentage of the parent company in subsidiary company S1 and S2 on consolidation date. Step 1. Preparing percentage of the parent company in subsidiary company S1 and S2 on consolidation date. Step 1. The subsidiary of S1, the percentage of holding directly they given, you can take that directly. And S2, share of the parent in subsidiary, share in subsidiary, subsidiary, 60% holding in subsidiary. In that 60%, your portion is 80%. 60 into 80, that is equal to 48% control in the subsidiary. And share percentage of non-controlling interest in subsidiary company S1 and S2 on consolidation date. S1 is non-controlling interest in the subsidiary 1. 100 minus 80%, that is equal 20% is the non-controlling interest in the subsidiary 1. subsidiary S2 100 minus 48 is equal 52% is the non-controlling interest. That is the way you need to compute step 2 non-controlling interest. Now, step 3, data of acquisition of the subsidiary company S1 and S2 by a parent company for S1 given data are in question normally as discussed in step 3 about topic. Okay. For S2, data of acquisition for S2, data of acquisition will be considered as later of the following dates. Acquisition date by parent or acquisition date of S. Employee 1. Example 1, sorry. Example 1. For example, the parent company in subsidiary on 1/4/2023 80%. Whereas a subsidiary in the subsidiary company 60% on 1/4/2024. Now, data of acquisition for the S1 is 1/4/2023. For S2 concern 1/4/2024. So, in case you consider example 2, parent company holding in subsidiary 80 percentage on 1/4/2024, whereas a subsidiary holding in subsidiary 60 percentage on 1/4/2023. See, parent company 80% holding in subsidiary on 1/4/2024, whereas a subsidiary holding in see, either talking like this subsidiary, you consider S1 is first acquisition, first company, and its subsidiary is S2. So if there are parent company S1, S2 is there. Now parent company acquired in the S1 is 1/4/2024, whereas S1 acquired control in S2 date is 1/4/2023. Date of acquisition, date of date of acquisition 1/4/2024 S1 and S2. Date of acquisition in 1/4/2024. Now, since the parent company step in for together S1 and S2, date of acquisition is 1/4/2024. Date of consolidation is the step 4. Step 5, analysis of reserves of subsidiary company S1 and S2. It will be done separately for each subsidiary in same way as discussed in step 3 in step 5 of the above topic. Step 6 is calculation of the net assets taken over of the subsidiary company S1 and S2 on acquisition date. Step 6, calculation. Step 6 is calculation of என்ன பென்சில் ஐயோ இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். See, calculation of the net assets taken over of the subsidiary company. S1 and S2. See, step number 4 is date of consolidation. In such a case, what is the date of, see, for example, parent company 80% acquired on 1/4/2023 in S1, whereas S1 acquired on 1/4/2024 in S2 is 60%. Then date of acquisition is S1 will be 1/4/2023, S2 will be 1/4/2024. S1 will be 1/4/2023, S2 will be 1/4/2024. Now, the date of acquisition had brought to the parity of 1/4/2024 for S2, for S1 1/4/2023 itself. But whereas the parent acquired in S1 1/4/2024, but whereas S1 is acquired holding in subsidiary 2 1/4/2023. In such a case, date of acquisition S1 and S2 will be 1/4/2024. What is the date? The date will be 1/4/2024. Date of consolidation. Step 4 is date of consolidation. Step 5, analysis of the reserves of the subsidiary company S1 and S2. It will be done separately for each subsidiary in the same way as discussed in the step 5 about topic. Step number 6, calculation of the net assets. Calculation of the net assets taken over of the subsidiary company S1 and S2 on acquisition date. Share capital of the subsidiary company S1 and S2. Add free acquisition reserves. Free acquisition reserves of the subsidiary company as calculated. Step number 5. Understood? Share capital of the subsidiary. See, in step number 6, what we are doing? In step number 6, calculation of the net assets. Calculation of net assets taken over by a subsidiary company. Okay. Calculation of net assets taken over of subsidiary company S1 and S2 on acquisition date. Share capital of the subsidiary company S1 and S2 figure. Add free acquisition reserves. Free acquisition reserves of subsidiary company as calculated in step number 5. Free acquisition reserves of subsidiary company as calculated in step 5. Share capital of the subsidiary company S1 and S2. Add free acquisition reserves of subsidiary company as calculated step 5. Step number 7. Calculation of the non-controlling interest in subsidiary company S1 and S2 on consolidation date. Step number 7. Calculation of the non-controlling interest in subsidiary company on consolidation date S1 S2. Non-controlling interest on acquisition date. Add shares of non-controlling interest in post-acquisition reserves of the subsidiary company S1 plus non-controlling interest on acquisition date. Add share of the non-controlling interest in post-acquisition reserves of the subsidiary S1 plus shares of non-controlling interest in post-acquisition reserves of the subsidiary company S2 minus share of the non-controlling interest in dividend paid by a subsidiary company if any minus share of non-controlling interest in impairment of the full goodwill if any minus share of non-controlling interest on investment amount in S2. So investment acquisition in S2 into share of the percentage of the non-controlling interest S1. All together will be calculation of the non-controlling interest subsidiary S1 and S2 on consolidation date. Understood? Not understood? Boom. Time is 4:30. See, calculation of net assets taken over subsidiary company S1 and S2 on acquisition date. How to compute means share capital of the subsidiary company S1 and S2. Add pre-acquisition reserves of the subsidiary company as calculated. Step 5. Now move to step number 7. Calculation of the non-controlling interest in subsidiary company S1 and S2 on consolidation date S1 and S2. Non-controlling interest on acquisition date at share of the non-controlling interest in post-acquisition reserves of the subsidiary company S1 plus share of the post-acquisition reserves in subsidiary 2, share of the non-controlling interest in post-acquisition of the reserves of the subsidiary company S2. Now, less share of the non-controlling interest in dividend paid by subsidiary company if any, minus share of the non-controlling interest impairment of the full goodwill if any, minus share of the non-controlling interest in subsidiary 1 minus share of the non-controlling interest in subsidiary 1 minus share of the non-controlling interest dividend paid by a subsidiary company if any, minus share of the non-controlling minus share of the non-controlling interest in impairment of the full goodwill if any, minus share of the non-controlling interest in investment account in S2. Investment amount in S2 into share percentage of non-controlling interest in S1. It means either a dividend, either impairment, either see dividend to impairment to impairment to uh, any investment will, uh, will take. See, non-controlling interest. Sorry for that. Ah, 5 minutes break because of bah. People's advocate. People's People's advocate born in India. made for the world. People's People's Advocate, born in India, born People's Advocate. నేను డైరెక్ట్ గా గూగుల్ మీట్ లో కరెక్ట్ గూగుల్ కదా త్రూ పోనీ దాని ఏమంటారు వాట్సాప్ కాల్ చేస్తాను నువ్వు చేయి నాకు ఒక సెకండ్ అవుతుంది కాల్ వాళ్ళ సిస్టమ్ నుంచి వాట్సాప్ కాల్ చేస్తాను. People's People's Advocate, MSc. People's Advocate, PEOPLES, People's Advocate .msn, born in India, made for the world.